marking of Human Rights Day. Tourism Minister Mmamoloko Kubayi-Ngubane is visiting the Vilakazi Precinct in Soweto to commemorate the day. Manqoba Mchunu is attending there, and at the same time, Gauteng Premier Makhura says the people of Sharpeville shaped and changed the destiny of South Africa and the tempo of our struggle against apartheid. Makhura was laying wreaths at the graves of the 69 victims at the Pelindaba Cemetery as we commemorate the 61st anniversary of the Sharpeville massacre. Our reporter, of course, Nkosazana Dambuza, following that story for us, and both our reporters join me live now. Very good afternoon to you, Nkosazana, and to you, Manqoba. So I'm going to start with you, Nkosazana. What was the word from the Gauteng Premier Makhura on this Human Rights Day?
Well, Morena, indeed, it is the 61st anniversary of the Sharpeville massacre, and today we just remember the 69 fallen heroes who were brutally gunned down by the apartheid police here in Sharpeville while they were protesting against the violation of the human rights that we now enjoy today, like the right to a peaceful protest under Section 17 of the Constitution. And it's today as well where the Gauteng province reflects on the progress that it's made in promoting the human rights that are enshrined in the Constitution. And today, Gauteng Premier delivered a speech, Gauteng Premier Makhura delivered a speech aimed at responding to the trampling of rights of Vaal residents in the area by government officials who were democratically elected, and yet they fail, he says, they fail to deliver basic services to the people of the Vaal area, like the removal of waste in this area every week. But let's take a listen to what Gauteng Premier Makhura had to say on this.
There's been significant decline in service delivery purely on the basis of poor governance in the municipality. The reason we have sent an intervention team, the provincial government has sent an intervention team that comes from the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs led by MEC Maile. We've got a team of officials who are helping the provincial government and the local municipality here to ensure that those important issues about sorting out the finances of the municipality, but also prioritizing service delivery, those things are being attended to. The provincial government has also spent money to procure, waste management is a big problem in the townships here. The townships, simply because the municipality is not picking up waste. So most of the municipal trucks are not operational. Every time we come engage with the municipality and the community. So what we have done, we are doing two things. We are attending the provincial government as part of the intervention is attending to waste management. So on the 9th of April, we will deliver the waste management trucks.
Manqoba, I want to bring you in here now. Obviously, Soweto is one of the hearts of, the apartheid struggle. And, of course, the Vilakazi Precinct is the home of former President Tatu Mandela and, of course, the former Archbishop Desmond Tutu. So what was planned and, of course, what did the tourism minister say?
Well, certainly, Morena, it is quite a significant day here in Soweto, more especially here on Vilakazi Street, as you have said, that this is one of the streets where you find those two Nobel Peace Prize laureates in one street. And of course it is quite an important day here because these are really activists and people that were involved in the fight for human rights. But today the Minister of Tourism visiting this particular street, you'll know, Morena, that this is a street that intertwines both the issue of human rights as well as the issue of tourism. So she's visiting some of the businesses here just to assess in terms of COVID-19 and to check on compliance. But the message is, of course, the revival of the tourism sector, which has been quite severely battered by COVID-19. But I want to bring in the Minister now just to explain her role and what she is doing here today. Minister, thank you for your time. Let's start here. The link between tourism and Human Rights Day, what is it?
Look, we use tourism as one of the areas, the human rights, our liberation struggle, our history of where we come from. This becomes iconic sites for travelers to be able to visit. They learn about our history, they learn about who we are as a nation and what we have traveled. Across the world, you'd see that museums about that country becomes a tourist attraction. We are here in Vilakazi, and one of the things that makes this street a critical street is because, one, it's got link between the liberation struggles that have been staying here. It's got about the history of Soweto, but also the part of the history that links to what we have been able to achieve as a nation. But also, the restaurants that are here, the arts craft centers that are existing here, that link between tourism and what we celebrate as today's day, Human Rights Day. But linking again, you can't talk about human rights when you don't talk about people's dignity. And one of the issues about people's dignity is their ability to be able to be self-sustainable, to be able to put food on the table for their families. And what tourism has gone through, and has the businesses being affected to the point that some of them have lost an income, becomes relevant for us to be here as part of reviving tourism and linking that, yes, their revival and their survival, it's about as well fulfilling the human rights that they have so much want to have and what we have fought for in this country.
So what is your message to some of these businesses here? Of course, you have been visiting quite a number of them, in fact, here on this particular street. What is it that you're saying to them?
One, my message to them is that let's comply with the COVID-19 protocols, because in that way, when all of us work together to comply, we will be able to curb the spread of the virus. That's the first one. Secondly, is to be able to say we have to hold on, never give up, and I'm here as a minister to encourage them, to say we will continue to do our best to promote tourism in this country for domestic market, but also international, so that they know that they are not alone in this difficulty. Thirdly, is to be able to say with the women that we are supporting today, giving them PPEs, to say in the little that we've been able to fundraise, we are here to say this is what it is that we are bringing for you to survive.
Okay. And let's speak about the issue. Of course, the tourism industry has been quite hard hit by COVID-19, but what have been some of the challenges in terms of trying to revive this industry?
The challenge, obviously, it's the unpredictable nature of how we manage the pandemic, where you have open and close in terms of our sector. The regulations, obviously, because now we are learning, there's never going to be a once-off opening or once-off closing. So it's adjusting in that sense. The second challenge has been around the issue of the variant that has been discovered in the country, and other countries calling it South African variant, which led to them closing the borders and restricting their citizens from traveling to South Africa, because that has infected on our numbers in terms of international travelers. So that remains a challenge for us, and that's why one of the things that we are doing from now going forward, because we think we've done a lot in terms of promoting domestic tourism, we'll continue to do that, but we want to move into the international market, where we start talking to international media partners so that we can explain how the virus has been managed in the country, and the fact that we are one of the few countries that has high recovery rate, the fact that we are one of the few countries that have low mortality rate. That's the message we must be able to send across the board.
And Minister, what is it like? Are companies complying? We know that there are fears that there could be possibly a third wave that's coming. What are you finding on the ground? Are these companies, tourism companies, complying with those COVID-19 regulations?
I am finding quite a lot of compliance from our sector, and I'm really grateful because it helps us. And I'm hoping they don't comply because they know the minister is here. I'm hoping that even when I'm not there, the tourism sector continues to comply, because we do have one or two incidences where we get feedback that there is non-compliance. So we want to continue to urge that we can only win this battle when all of us play a part, where we sanitize, we social distance, and we continue to wear our masks.
Okay. Thank you, Minister, for your time. That was the Minister of Tourism, Mmamoloko Kubayi-Ngubane, speaking to us there. Of course, compliance, compliance, compliance. That's the message that they're sending to some of these businesses here in Soweto as we commemorate Human Rights Day.
Manqoba, thank you so much, as well as you, Nkosazana. Of course, those are our reporters, Nkosazana Dambuza, who was in Sharpeville, and of course, Manqoba Mchunu, who was coming to us with the Minister of Tourism from Soweto.